Welcome to this roundtable gathering. The topic that we are seeking to explore, carbon, what are the water industry's leaders doing to balance the budget?
The carbon issue is important to us in the water industry for a variety of reasons. Of course, there's the obvious thing around the operational cost, but the bit that people sometimes forget is our branding and our stature with our customers, because our customers feel that carbon is something that they care deeply about, and they expect the water companies to care deeply about it as well.
Carbon is one of a number of competing issues, but people are prepared to listen. Generally, people managing our assets want to make a good impression on the carbon footprint of their organisation.
I think the real issue for us is that water treatment will always be an energy-intensive industry. So what we have to do is displace carbon-produced power with renewables.
It's more cost-effective to substitute carbon-generated electricity with renewables than it is to simply try and reduce the amount of carbon. So if we take a view on paybacks in the sort of 7 to 10 year arena rather than sub 5 years, quite a lot of things become economic that otherwise wouldn't have been.
I think in the UK we are actually very innovative, more about the application of innovation and actually applying it and using it and understanding the benefits of it. And I think that's essential when you look at export potential. There is a lot of innovation and technology out there that's being applied. I think our challenge as a sector is having that whole understanding about cost and therefore risk about its delivery. We've got to transition ourselves as an industry from where we are today to actually being able to release those benefits in terms of energy and in terms of quality compliance and benefits ultimately for the consumer.
Well, I think learning can come from all venues, and I think it's very important to take a look outside of the UK water industry to see what ideas have come forth in other parts of the world.
The UK is actually leading much of the world in focusing on carbon reduction. Well, maybe there's one area that perhaps other parts of the world are ahead in, that is really in a commercial model. It's a model in which you find ways to drive wastage out, to generate funds to pay for the capital improvements to drive these efficiencies.
One of the great things about the debate that happened today was that you had both the utilities and the regulators, not just the financial regulator but also the quality regulator in the room, and then you had the MP who was able to almost shape the discussion that would happen with the regulators.
How do we best drive cultural change in the amount of energy that's reduced? When actually we come along and say you've got to cut X amount from your processes. You've got to do it without hitting your bottom line because we want a low-risk industry. Oh, and we also want affordability for customers at the end so that people aren't priced out of the industry.
Well, I mean, I think those are really, really pertinent questions. Legislation does make people do things faster than many other forces, provided that the whole cost equation balances.
We touched on so many different aspects, and I think that's one of the reasons why I believe it was a success, because there was such a breadth of debate in there.
It's not just about solving this problem for today, but it's also about thinking about the future and future generations.
An issue we're going to face in Yorkshire is the population is going to increase from 5.4 million to 7 million. Can we supply 7 million people with the same amount of water that we use now?
Historically, we put this in the too difficult box, but actually it's not too difficult, and in the last set of water resources management plans, for the first time, overall per capita consumption reduced. So I think that shows that it is possible if the will is there and the commitment.
The value of an event like this is great because it provides thought leadership. It's around getting people who can help shape what's going to happen in the future, getting them in the room together, wrestling out some of those ideas, which will hopefully find the solutions for the future.